Once a warm welcome to the discussion segment today on AM Sports, and we'll be featuring for the very first time on NTA Sports 24 someone that's done so much for karate development in Nigeria over the years, more than 20 years now. She's done so much. Of course, one of the highest ranking international referee in Nigeria when it comes to karate, and of course, she is also the chairperson of the Lagos State Karate Association, and she's been doing the Zainab Saleh Karate Championship for more than a decade now. Of course, we just recently had the 11th edition. She's also planning for the 12th edition. Joining me and welcome Zainab Saleh, one of the top-ranked international referee and a board member of the Nigerian Karate Federation. Glad you could finally make it on our show today.
Thank you so much, George, for inviting me and for me being here today. I'm really grateful for that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely fantastic. Of course, you've been focusing on the girl child over the years, with the dream, the vision, self-defense, give them opportunity, platform to showcase their talent, and of course, fulfill their dreams when it comes to karate. And a lot of people don't know how you started this whole vision some years ago, but what has been the driving force for you, apart from self-defense? Because I always talked about the fact that the girl child must be able to defend herself. But what has been the focus for you to, give the girl child opportunity with combat sports, and you've been creating the platform with karate?
Well, let me just basically start by saying karate is a sport or an art that has been very dear to me. I've been practicing it for more than 40 years. And like you've rightly said, it's so important as far as I'm concerned that the girl child, and of course the boy, should be able to learn how to defend themselves. We live in a society where, or should I say the world in general, is not very palatable in so many instances. We talk about things like domestic violence, we talk about rape, we talk about social ills. So if you don't have the skills to be able to deal with some of these situations you find yourself in, there's always problem. So for me, that has been one of the things that I've always advocated for. And of course, I look at the girl child because they're the more vulnerable, if you understand what I mean. True. So for me, once you're able to learn the skills, at the same time, you're trying as much as possible to showcase your talent, because it's not about learning the sport of karate, hoping that we can create more platforms in Nigeria for us to be able to showcase the karate talent that we have.
Yeah, I was going to come to that. As a board member of the Nigerian Karate Federation, I think that has been the major challenge. They don't have so many competitions, many exposure or platform, and yours competition is one of the major ones. In fact, I think the men will be envious of the women. I think they're really envious because the consistency of your competition has been absolutely fantastic. But how can the federation now, will I say, rate or rank this competition? Because you always challenge the ladies that if you don't take part in this competition, you don't even have a chance for the national team. But how can the federation now put priority to this championship that the national team coaches, the technical officials can see that this is a big platform for the national athletes to be selected?
In all fairness to the Karate Federation of Nigeria, I want to believe that they've already recognized this championship.
I know they've recognized.
They recognized
it. I know.
And they created it as a ranking factor 6 event. So it gives them, the ladies, the opportunity to be able to, showcase their talents and be able to be ranked in Nigeria. So, I mean, in terms of selections, when you're trying to get ladies to be selected from the team, this is one of the events that Karate Federation of Nigeria uses to be able to get, athletes to compete if we're going for international events, if they're going for regional events and things like that. So yes, it is recognized. But the only thing now as members of the Karate Federation is for us to be able to do more. That's the only thing I can say. So we all need to sit down together, plan more events. I'm not saying that we don't have, but we just need to increase on the amount of events that we have to be able to give everybody now, I'm talking about both male and female, the opportunity to be able to have events to practice. Because basically when you're having these events in your country, it gives you the opportunity to practice the skills that you've been training for so long. So that when you're going out there onto the regional level, the international level, the continental level, you have something to showcase.
Yeah.
So for me, it's important that we try as much as possible to increase the amount of events we have, increase the amount of training we have, and of course, increase the amount of training that we give our referees and judges.
Yes.
So it's holistic.
Yeah, I was going to come to the referees and the instructors,
correct.
and of course, and the umpires.
Yes.
Now, I know you're one of the highly rated international referees we have in Nigeria. And sometimes the challenge with combat sports is the scoring system, and you can see most of the times maybe the athletes will come complaining that I wasn't scored well, I wasn't scored well. So what have you done in that light? The exposure this competition is giving the instructors, and do you still always have training programs before the major competitions to expose them with the modern rules?
So usually that is what happens. You see, we have to follow, or we follow the World Karate Federation rules and regulations for all our judges, referees, and coaches. Now, it's very imperative and important that whenever the coaches are training, they must be able to imbibe the rules and regulations to the athletes that they're training at the end of the day. Because when you go abroad or when you go internationally and you see how these scorings are implemented, you will realize that people go by the book. So we have to be in the position for the athletes to actually understand what the rules are telling you.
Because I see the improvements in your technology every particular year.
Yes, it does. And then, for example, if you don't understand the rules, that's the more reason why you will always complain and feel that you are being cheated.
True.
Right? Because I'll give you a typical instance. When you're talking about kumite, kumite is the one where you fight. That's where you see them fighting together, two opponents, two of them together, red and the blue, and they fight and whatnot. You have what we call scoring criteria, and they are 6 in number. So even if you kick, for example, I, as a judge, have to ensure that the 6 scoring criteria are met. If one is defective, I cannot give that score.
Oh, wow.
So that's how, if you don't understand this, you feel you're cheated. So for example, somebody gives a kick, I've looked to see whether the 6 criteria are there. Then maybe the person kicks, maybe falls down, or maybe she's not alert. I cannot give her the point.
And the crowd is already shouting that that's the point.
Yes, exactly. But you have not seen it from the referee's or the judge's perspective.
True.
So you can't just assume that the judge or the referee have not given the correct scores. Because they're following the rules. So it's always very important that we must always ensure that the coaches and the athletes understand the rules and regulations.
Absolutely fantastic.
It's very important.
I see that you even encourage a lot of young children to learn this sport at a very young age, because we see different young and parents even come with their children. How inspired are the parents, so to speak, now to allow their children, the girl child, to actually take part in karate? Because anything combat sports, a lot of them are kind of, having a second thought about it.
So one of the major reasons of this championship that I do, come and see.
Okay.
Do you understand? So when you're coming, and come with your children, when you come to see exactly what is going on, you understand a little bit more of what this thing is all about. And like I said, it's holistic. It is for the athlete, it is for the coaches, it is for the referee and the judges, it's for the parents to actually understand. And we actually start training children from the age of 5 and above. So when you're coming and they're seeing and they're actually inspired by what they see, they will always say, oh, mommy, oh, daddy, I want to practice. So I get a lot of that. So by the time I'm getting people calling me and asking, I can now direct them to the various dojos in the country, because there are dojos all over. And for those that don't know what dojo means, it means school. It's a place where you can go to learn karate. So we have them all over the federation. So if you're calling me from Kano, for example, I can tell you which dojo to go to, which coach you can go and meet for you to enroll your child in there. So we have it all over the nation. So you see, this actually encourages people to come into the sport of karate. So by that, we're building our athlete base. For me, that is important. So by the time we come up, we have a better opportunity to be able to pick good athletes from that pool. And at the same time, we're driving our message, go and learn karate for self-defense.
Absolutely fantastic. Let's talk about the rating of the competition over the years. Talk about the fact that it's produced national athletes. And of course, you compete some against some other African countries. How has it been rated? Because I want to see how it has placed Nigerian karateka, especially the girl child, the ladies that do karate, that take part in the championship. How does it place them amongst other African countries?
Well, the truth of the matter now is, like, I've just given you an example. 4 ladies that have been contenders at my championship went for the world championship. So automatically their going there has already rated them.
Yeah, okay.
So you find that, well, I can't give you the right statistics right now because they've all have a ranking number. And I've noticed that most of them are above majority of the people from other African countries. Well, let me not say maybe West African countries, because you have a lot of people from the North African countries, the Egyptians, the Algerians. Oh yes, they're the ones that are leaders, you know, in terms of that. We have a lot of them that are world champions. Yeah. And you know, our hope is that one day Nigeria will be able to become top ranking, and there's the possibility is there. Yeah. The athletes are there. It's just for us to give them the platform to be able to spread their wings as high as they can go.
Yeah, let me talk to the officials, the referees. I mean, how are they inspired that you've reached one of the heights when it comes to, you know, judges, international referees? Do they see you as a symbol, or what can they learn from your road to, I mean, being a top official?
Well, I want to assume...
You need to motivate so that we can have more international referees. Yes.
But I do. The thing is that I want to assume that they see me as a role model. I want to assume. I can't speak for them, but I want to assume that they do. And the thing is that one of the things that I do for my championship in conjunction with the Karate Federation of Nigeria is to do referee courses. So before the event starts, I always have a referee course on that day, which is handled by the Karate Federation of Nigeria. Now and then they get their certification and whatnot. So when you're coming for these events, at the same time you're practicing. So when you're practicing and you're getting better, it gives you the confidence to say that, look, I want to go to the next level, which is the regional, which is the Africa, well, maybe regional, then from regional you go to Africa, then from Africa you go to the world. That's the ideal thing to do. But if you don't have these championships to be able to practice, how do you get better? Do you understand? And this is one of the reasons why, like I said, it's a very holistic championship, because it's addressing every single person. So I'm hoping that more and more people, more of the athletes, more of the coaches, more of the referees can understand the vision of this championship, if you understand what I mean. And I am praying and I'm hoping that if I'm able to get more funding, I would love to have another championship in Abuja for both male and the female. That's where I'm heading to. But you know, everything is funding at the end of the day. You know, the story we always talk about, everything involves a lot of money. You know, and when we're talking about the referees and, like I said, the judges, you know, we can only continue to teach them the rules, work with them on the rules, so that they understand them, they learn them, and then it gives you the confidence. Because what you have to do when we're writing exams...
Yeah, I was going to come to that. Before you compete at the highest level, maybe Olympics, you need to get some some certification.
So you have to. So what you have to do is you have to go for your exams. So you're going to write the theory exams, and then you're going to do practical exams. And it's very important that you pass these two. That is for the committee. Both committee and for kata. They're theory and practical exams. That's what they call them. And you must pass them. And they have minimum scores. If you get below the minimum scores, obviously they're not going to give you, or they will not pass you. So you have to work towards it, you know? So for every time that I go out internationally, I have to sit my exams until I reach the highest level of where I'm going, you know, and I must sit.
How many Nigerians are at that level? How many Nigerians are at that level?
So on the world level, we're 2 right now. That is Segun Akinola. He has already finished all his exams, so he's what we call a Judge A for kata, and he's also a Referee A for Kumite. So he has finished. So I'm just the one that is, you know, still managing to get there. You know, trying as much as possible to sit my exams whenever I can go out of the country. But when it comes to continental, I've finished my continental exams, so myself, Segun Akinola, we're already at the highest level. Then we have a few of my colleagues, women and men, that have joined us on the African level, and I will always continue to encourage them to try as much as possible to sit the exams, because in most instances, we're the ones that have to pay. We have to. We're the ones that have to carry ourselves to go for these exams, and it's not easy because you end up having to travel to different countries. Right now, we're going to have the African Championship taking place in September in Algeria. So if anybody wants to go and sit their exams and we're not going as a contingent or anything, they will have to pay their ticket, pay their hotel, pay for the exams that they're going to. It's not easy. It's a lot of money.
It's always better if you have your own country people officiating in the middle of this international championship. It gives the country an edge when it comes to.
Well, not an edge. Not an edge in terms of when you're looking at the people that are the athletes on ground, because you're expected, no matter what, as a referee, to be devoid of anything.
True.
You need to be straight in everything that you're doing. What we call conflict of interest is another thing that is so important these days. If you know you have an athlete on the floor, there's no way you can stay and judge that athlete. You have to come out, and then other people come in to referee.
But the system is even an electronic scoring system, as in the parts.
No, so when
just
it
like
comes,
in taekwondo.
yes, now, so in karate now we use what do you call those things again? Joysticks for the kumite.
Yes.
So you're able to, in quotes, flag by using the joysticks to give to whichever side. That's in kumite.
Yes.
Then in kata, the same thing. You impute your scores, and then it comes out.
Okay. So let me talk about the athletes that have been discovered in your championship. Of course, you talked about the fact that you're going to national team, go for African championship. Now, when you identify this talent, I see a lot of them. I think there's a lady from Delta State. You create an opportunity for her to travel. And how did this athlete, go back motivated, inspired to take it to the next level? Because when they perform so well in their own states, if they don't have this competition to compete amongst the other states, apart from the sports festival, they don't know how good they are, where they need to improve upon, the lessons instructions they need to get from their coaches. So the athletes that they discovered, do you push them to the national team, the scouts? How do you, harness them and push them for international competitions?
You see, that's another thing that, is a bit difficult because if you're running a system where you maybe have just 1 or 2 championships in the year, I'm not saying that we don't have others. So by the time they come out for that first one or second one, then you find that if there's a long span, time, spread towards the next championship or whatnot, and if they're not motivated when they go back home to continue training maybe with their coaches or by themselves or whatnot, you will definitely see the issues when they come for the next championship. Recently we had a championship, when was it? Something about a month ago, here in Abuja.
Okay.
And I was able to see some of the athletes that came to take part, although I didn't spend the whole day.
Okay.
But I could see that some of the athletes were not training.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you understand what I mean. So the issue is to continue to keep them engaged. By the time you keep them engaged, going from one championship to the other, and then they have the finances backing them, because that's another thing altogether. Even traveling within the country is a problem.
Yeah, true.
If you're traveling from Delta to come to Abuja, how much is it going to cost you? And how many people have access to funding to be able to say, okay, they want to go to this championship, and then you find that they can't come out because the funds are not there.
But they need to be rated.
Yeah, but they need to be. So how do you deal with these situations? So when you're having a Karate Federation of Nigeria championship, there's every likelihood that the states may be able to sponsor the individuals coming. But then also you find that a lot of them spend their own money or have to look for sponsorship to be able to go for these events. And you see, that's why I'm saying the whole ecosystem has a challenge. And it all boils down to funding. So how much can one individual do at the end of the day? So if we don't have a group or more individuals being able to deal with these things, we'll always run into these challenges.
Okay.
But I'm hoping that at the end of the day, we're going to be able to continue to keep our athletes motivated. And I know that every year, and I keep saying this, there will always be that female championship in Lagos for as long as I can do it. So they know, the women know that championship is there for them. So come out, try as much as possible to go. And as more funds come in, we'll be able to do more things for the women. And like I said, I am hoping that these funds will extend all the way for me to be able to create a male, a proper championship, because it's not easy. Imagine having to deal with all those categories, both male and female.
True.
It's not easy.
Well, moving on to the 12th edition now, so round this up. Talk about the legacies. The Zainab Saleh Karate Championship is laying for the future of karate in Nigeria. And of course, these young ones have been featuring this competition, looking up to the next edition. I mean, we're still expecting the girls from different parts of the country to come take part. And of course, be ranked, be rated. Also the officials and the instructors and the referees to, get something from this competition. Because if they don't fight, if they don't compete, we can never tell how good they are. Because basically, it's like only the sports festival or one or two championships is there for them. So, I mean, from this championship now, is that a national or international championship that they are looking to take part in after they finish this one?
So, like I said, September.
Okay.
We're hoping we should be able to put a contingent together to go for the African Championships taking place in Algeria in September. Okay. So there's a hope for that, from the Karate Federation of Nigeria, and I hope we'll be able to achieve that. And hopefully, things will go through. Then when you come back in September, then you have the female championship. So already you're going into another one immediately. So that gives you, the opportunity to continue training and ensuring that you're going to be able to continue. And then we're hoping that we have some other events towards the end of the year that we can plan towards, and then, have what we can for these athletes. But like I said, the more we can get together, to get more people involved, to get more championships created for them, it will be better for them. Okay. And then maybe remuneration or something at the end of the day to encourage them.
Finally, what areas are Nigerian ladies really strong at, and what are the areas you think they need to really improve upon? From what you've seen for the past 11 years you've been doing this championship, focusing on the ladies.
I think that in all fairness, when you have the senior categories, we're able to see that their fighting skills, the technical skills in fighting, in what we call kumite, have really improved. So yes, it's to focus on those, and then of course the ones we want to bring on, to continue to make sure that the technical skills that they have are good. When it comes to kata, we see that the junior ones, where we call the intermediates, the junior categories, the cadet categories, we have some serious potential. So it's only to be able to harness the potential that we're seeing. So the women, of course, like I've said, the technical skills generally for these women over the past decade have improved significally. So it's for us to harness it. That when I say us, I'm talking about the coaches, and maybe the administrators, because when we talk about administration is to ensure that there's the ability for them to be able to go for these things. Like I said, everything boils down to money at the end of the day. You know? So,
well, thank you so much of karate, of course, for the girl child, of course, promoting karate in Nigeria. And of course, one woman has done that more than 10 decades now. Of course, more than a decade now is Zainab Saleh. Thank you so much for being a guest today on AM Sports.
Thank you so much.
Well, you're still watching AM Sports, reaching live from the Moshood Abiola National Stadium. We'll take a short break. We'll return to be time to talk basketball, of course. Join us after this timeout.